Did you know the silver screen idols we fell in love with in the 1950s hid a terrifying reality off camera? Behind their charming smiles lay unhinged, dangerous secrets that studios spent millions to cover up. Today, we're exposing the dark, shocking truth behind Hollywood's most beloved Golden Age stars. Subscribe now so you never miss another untold story. To generations of Americans who grew up with The Cosby Show, Dr. Cliff Huxtable wasn't just a character on a screen, he was the gold standard of fatherhood, universally cherished as America's dad. Through gentle humor and iconic Jell-O commercials, Bill Cosby built a sanctuary of warmth, wisdom, and wholesome values in millions of living rooms. Yet behind that beloved cardigan-wearing persona lay a cold, calculated predator whose betrayal cut to the very heart of American culture. Over 60 courageous women eventually broke the silence, revealing a horrific, decades-long pattern of abuse. Using his titan status in Hollywood, Cosby lured vulnerable women with promises of mentorship only to secretly drug and assault them. His squeaky clean image served as the impenetrable armor. For years, the public simply couldn't reconcile the idol on their televisions with the monster in the shadows. He fiercely guarded his myth, deploying high-priced lawyers and aggressive non-disclosure agreements to crush anyone who dared speak out. Though convicted in 2018, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court vacated his sentence in 2021 over a legal technicality, a procedural loophole that set him free but could never restore his ruined name. Showcasing a chilling lack of remorse to the end, Cosby left a public once deeply in love with him in profound shock. The man who taught a nation how to laugh left behind entertainment's most painful tragedy, a legacy defined not by love, but by deep-seated deception. To classic Hollywood enthusiasts, Joan Crawford was the epitome of silver screen glamour, a fiercely ambitious Oscar winner who defined Golden Age stardom. Yet behind the polished elegance lay a chilling reality later exposed in her daughter Christina's explosive 1978 memoir, Mommy Dearest. The infamous no-wire hangers scene barely captures the horrific psychological and physical abuse inflicted upon her adopted children, Christina and Christopher. Behind closed doors, Crawford subjected her children to cruel mind games, unpredictable beatings, forced starvation, and compulsive cleaning rituals. She orchestrated a nightmare of erratic behavior, showering warmth one moment, then unleashing terrifying, unprovoked rage the next. In public, however, Crawford skillfully manipulated the studio system, gossip columnists, and fans to maintain an immaculate image as a devoted mother, effectively silencing her children for decades. Beyond her home, Crawford wielded immense power to alter careers and punish rivals across Hollywood. Her final act of cold punishment came from beyond the grave. She intentionally disinherited Christina and Christopher from her multi-million-dollar estate for reasons which are well known to them. While some peers defended her memory, Crawford's legacy was forever rewritten, a haunting reminder to a generation of fans that under Hollywood's brightest lights, maternal cruelty can hide behind the most glamorous facade. To generations of Americans who grew up loving silent cinema, Charlie Chaplin's Little Tramp was the ultimate symbol of warmth, innocence, and bittersweet laughter. Yet behind the iconic bowler hat and toothbrush mustache lay a deeply troubled personal life marked by ruthless psychological control and a disturbing pattern of relationships with very young women. Long before modern scrutiny, Chaplin's high-profile marriages to 16-year-old Mildred Harris and 16-year-old Lita Gray exposed his fixation on teenage brides. Gray later revealed a marriage defined by emotional abuse, isolation, and constant humiliation. On set, Chaplin's legendary perfectionism often crossed into genuine cruelty. He notoriously forced actors through hundreds of grueling takes, reducing leading ladies like Virginia Cherrill to tears. His extramarital affairs were open secrets, while his cold, controlling demeanor extended to his household, leaving lasting emotional scars on his son, Charlie Jr. Even his final enduring marriage to Una O'Neill began when she was just 18 and he was 54. While their union lasted until his death and Una spoke fondly of their family life, the massive age gap underscored a lifelong pattern that fans found difficult to ignore. As decades passed, the stark contrast between his tender screen persona and his harsh private reality became impossible to reconcile. Charlie Chaplin's undisputed cinematic genius undeniably shaped the landscape of American entertainment, but his complex personal history remains a sobering, painful reminder that the most heartwarming figures on the silver screen can mask a profoundly dark and destructive reality once the cameras stop rolling. To generations of Americans who cherished his velvet voice during the holidays, Bing Crosby was the ultimate symbol of warmth, wholesome charm, and mid-century family values. Through timeless classics like White Christmas, Crosby became an indelible part of the American home. Yet behind that laid-back persona lay a strict, cold domestic disciplinarian whose rigid parenting left deep, lasting scars on his eldest children. Following his death, his eldest son, Gary, published a scathing 1983 memoir detailing severe physical beatings with heavy leather belts and intense emotional isolation. Crosby demanded absolute perfection from his 4 sons, with his first wife, Dixie Lee, subjecting them to harsh corporal punishment and relentless expectations. His cold demeanor left his sons desperately seeking an approval they rarely received. Tragically, 2 of his sons, Lindsay and Dennis, later died by suicide in adulthood after years of personal struggles, substance abuse, and financial difficulties. While rumors and sensational accounts surfaced over the decades, including exaggerated claims about extreme punishments, the reality of Crosby's troubled family dynamic remained a painful revelation for millions of devoted fans. His younger children from his second marriage remembered him as a stern yet loving father, highlighting a complex, deeply divided legacy. Ultimately, the man whose comforting voice defined Christmas for an entire nation left behind a tragic home life, proving that the most serene public images on the silver screen can mask a far more complicated, somber reality behind closed doors. To generations who idolized Old Blue Eyes, Frank Sinatra was the undisputed chairman of the board, a charismatic titan whose golden voice and effortless cool defined mid-century American culture. Yet beneath the velvet baritone and sleek tuxedo was a notoriously tempestuous figure whose legendary volatile temper and dark connections cast a permanent chilling shadow over his glamorous, larger-than-life legacy. Throughout his legendary career, Sinatra's fiery wrath exploded in high-profile altercations with journalists, photographers, and casino executives. His deep, well-documented ties to organized crime figures like Sam Giancana fueled persistent rumors of intimidation, providing him an aura of untouchable power in Hollywood and Las Vegas. On set, he demanded absolute deference, often clashing bitterly with directors and co-stars who failed to meet his exacting standards. His passionate, fiery marriage to Ava Gardner spiraled into a tempestuous storm of intense arguments, jealousy, and emotional exhaustion that captivated and shocked gossip columnists nationwide. While sensational claims, such as ordering mobsters to break a man's legs, remain unverified rumors, his real-life hostility and explosive outbursts were indisputable. His children, including his daughter Tina, later spoke candidly of his intense, moody swings and unpredictable anger, even as they acknowledged his fierce loyalty and deep generosity. Sinatra dominated the American entertainment landscape with unmatched talent and raw authority. But his reign remains a compelling, complex testament to an era when boundless artistic genius went hand in hand with a dangerous, violent edge. To Golden Age cinema lovers, Marlon Brando was the ultimate rebel, a cinematic force whose revolutionary method acting redefined American Hollywood forever. Yet behind his genius lay an intensely unpredictable icon whose deeply chaotic behavior pushed directors, cast members, and studios to their absolute limits. Brando's notorious eccentricity frequently derailed major productions. His chaotic antics on Mutiny on the Bounty sent budgets skyrocketing, while his refusal to memorize lines preferring cue cards hidden around sets became legendary. Though he delivered an unforgettable Oscar-winning performance in The Godfather, he initially faced fierce resistance from Paramount executives who feared his unreliability. While he didn't physically injure co-stars by refusing to pull punches, his demanding, highly improvised style, most notoriously in Last Tango in Paris, left co-stars like Maria Schneider deeply traumatized by the emotional and psychological toll of his unscripted scenes. Off-screen, Brando's private life reflected similar turbulence. His intense detachment and mercurial temperament left lasting scars on his children amidst a family history later marred by intense personal tragedy. Throughout his career, Brando routinely treated director authority with utter disdain, arriving late or challenging scripts to assert artistic control. While sensational rumors often exaggerated his behavior, such as crew walkouts or physical assaults, his real-life volatility was undeniable. Brando remains an unmatched Hollywood legend. To generations of Americans who walked down the yellow brick road with her Judy Garland was the heart and soul of classic Hollywood, a performer of transcendent bittersweet beauty whose legendary voice defined iconic films like The Wizard of Oz and A Star is Born. Yet behind that dazzling talent lay a deeply tragic life marked by severe substance abuse, emotional instability, and a heartbreaking struggle with the studio system. Pushed into grueling working hours and forced onto prescription upper and downer pills by studio executives as a teenager, Garland developed severe addictions that haunted her adulthood. As her health declined, erratic behavior, severe anxiety, and sudden walkouts frequently disrupted major productions. Her volatility made working with her an emotional minefield for cast and directors, leading to canceled contracts and stalled sets. While her chaotic lifestyle created immense pressure for her household, her children, most notably Liza Minnelli, always remembered her not as a cruel figure but as a deeply loving, witty, and protective mother who fought courageously against severe mental health demons imposed by a predatory industry. Sensational accounts often labeled her behavior as purely unprofessional, but the reality was far more tragic. Judy Garland wasn't a monster. She was a victim of an abusive studio era that exploited her genius and left her deeply scarred. Her enduring legacy remains a complex tapestry of unmatched artistic greatness and the profound human cost of Hollywood stardom. To classic comedy lovers who grew up laughing at The Pink Panther or Dr. Strangelove, Peter Sellers was a master of reinvention, a performer whose brilliant chameleon-like talent brought Inspector Clouseau to life and transformed screen comedy forever. Yet behind the effortless laughter lay a deeply troubled mercurial figure whose terrifying mood swings and crippling insecurities left a trail of emotional destruction in his wake. Off-screen Sellers struggled with severe mental instability and intense paranoia, often surrounding himself with elaborate security systems and cutting ties with lifelong friends over imagined betrayals. He routinely vanished into his movie characters for weeks at a time, refusing to break persona even during personal, intimate moments at home. On film sets, his erratic behavior and sudden walkouts frequently brought multi-million-dollar productions to a complete halt, leaving cast and crew stranded. His volatile temper proved particularly devastating in his romantic relationships. His fourth wife, Britt Eklund, later described a harrowing marriage filled with intense jealousy, obsessive control, and psychological exhaustion. His children felt equally alienated, experiencing cold detachment and unpredictable rages from a father who struggled to connect with anyone as his true self. When he suffered a fatal heart attack in 1980, he left the vast majority of his estate to his fourth wife, effectively disinheriting his children and sparking a bitter, painful legal battle that exposed the deep wounds within his family. Peter Sellers remains one of the greatest comedic minds in entertainment history, but his dark personal life remains a tragic reminder of the heavy, painful toll behind a genius mask. Thank you for watching today's video. If you find the content interesting or useful, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the latest videos. Your support is the biggest motivation for us to continue creating better quality content every day. What do you think about today's topic? Leave a comment below so we can discuss it together. See you in the next video. Have a great day.